turn yours up. Hello. Hello. Can you hear me? I can hear me. Okay. Yes, it's 7 o'clock. Let's start. Yes, on time. It's 7 o'clock. Welcome to the Fruit Heights City Council meeting. My name is John Pullman, Mayor of the City of Fruit Heights. We are meeting with an 8 location at 910 South Mountain Road, Fruit Heights, City, Utah 4037. We are going to start off with the Pledge of Allegiance by Mark, and I will give a prayer. Please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our Father in heaven, we bow our heads giving thanks for this day. We're grateful to be able to meet as civic leaders and with the city. We are very grateful for the blessing it is to live in this beautiful location. We are grateful for the abundance which thou hast blessed us with, and we ask thee to help us to be wise and to help those around us. We love thee very much, and we say these things in Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Roll call 1.3.
Councilmember Gary Anderson.
Here.
Councilmember Mark Hotra.
Here.
Councilmember Eileen Moss.
Here.
Councilmember George Ray.
Here.
Councilmember Florence Sadler.
Here.
Mayor John Pullman.
Here. Thank you. I actually have a question before we go on. To you, does that eagle need to be pointed east on top?
It needs to be pointed forward.
Pointed forward. Okay, we will make
How
that.
does the other veterans do that?
Is it? I thought it was pointed east.
It always points forward.
Point forward. Okay. Thank you, veterans.
Because it's always on your right,
Yep.
the eagle faces forward.
Thank you.
Because not a whole lot of people know which direction is what.
Excellent. We are going to go on to item number 1.4. We've set aside 3 minutes of every one of our city council meeting agendas for one of the elected officials to train on our responsibility as elected official. Tonight is George Ray, and he's going to train.
Thank you. As I was looking for a topic to share this evening, I wanted to learn more about public safety and what's required from this local level, municipal level. And so I looked in our powers and duty book and found absolutely nothing. Either it's not an important topic or it's complex. I'm guessing it's the latter. And so I went and just started reading some state code. And being an amateur code reader, it makes me wonder what happens to, sorry, do I need to speak up, John?
Just a little bit.
It makes me wonder what happens to have certain code put in the state code book. So for the rest of my training, I didn't get very far. I was just going through a bunch of code pieces trying to understand what was put in there. So I'm gonna just read some code, and it's probably boring, but hopefully you can gain something from it and maybe do some of your own research. Peace officer classifications. That was where I started first. The following officer may exercise peace officer authority only as specified, specifically authorized by law. There's 4 categories: law enforcement officers, correction officers, special function officers, and federal officers. For our meeting and our municipal level, law enforcement officer is the one who makes the most sense. The definition of a law enforcement officer is a law enforcement officer who is a sworn and certified peace officer who is an employee of a law enforcement agency and whose primary and principal duties consist of the prevention and detection of crime and enforcement of criminal statutes or ordinances of this state or any of its political subdivisions. I'm not sure what certified means, but I'm assuming it has to do with the post-training. I didn't get that far. Peace officers serving, this one I found interesting. Peace officers serving in a reserve or auxiliary capacity. We can have non-paid or part-time officers. I don't know that was a thing. cities that are required, first and second class cities are required to have police services. I don't know that was a thing either. Police services, it says police services. I couldn't find a definition of law enforcement services in the state code, which I found was interesting. So I guess there's probably a lot that goes underneath that. Authority of the police chief. The chief of police is an appointed position. Chief of police has the same authority as the sheriff within the boundaries of municipal appointment. Police officers within the boundary of the municipality. Police officers have the same authority as the deputy sheriff, including at all times the authority to preserve public peace, prevent crime, detect and arrest offenders, suppress riots, protect persons and property, remove nuisances, so on and so forth. Rights to arrest without warrant. I found this code interesting. The members of the police force shall have the power and authority without process to arrest and take into custody any person who shall commit or threaten or attempt to commit in the presence of an officer within his view any breach of the peace, any offense directly prohibited by law of this state or by ordinance. I found that interesting. That's a lot of power for us to set, and we should probably take that power respectfully. And last but not least, powers and duties obligated of the police chief, marshal, and their assistants in the city of the third and fourth class town. The chief of police, marshal, or assistant in the city shall have all powers, rights, and duties respectively conferred on such officers. So the third, fourth, and fifth class towns, same authority as the first or second. Anyways, I'm sure there's lots of laws that clarify those state laws, but those are the ones that I was starting to find that really applied to our level of government and public safety.
Thank you, George. You jumped into a rabbit hole. It sounds like a fun little adventure.
It was a lot of fun.
Did you by chance run into Alice while you were down there? Alice in Wonderland?
No, but it made me wonder why they were there.
Let's move forward. Item number 2 is declaration of conflict of interest. Do we have anything tonight to declare? Not hearing or seeing anything, we can move on. Item number 3 is a public open and an opportunity for all residents to approach City Council and present anything. We ask you to keep your comments to 3 minutes. Do we have anything tonight? Great. Moving on to item number 3.1. I received a request by Don Benedict. He was not going to be able to make it, but his request was with regards to our ordinance, our swimming pool ordinance, which I talked to Darren about. He is going to review that ordinance again with Planning Commission to see if there needs to be some recommendations on the existing ordinance. We changed it last year. The Planning Commission approved something and we came back and approved something else. I just want that to go back to the Planning Commission to see if there's a reason why that should or should not be modified or changed. I'm not in favor of handing out this for any reason whatsoever, so I'd rather look at the ordinance first. Second, we have a request from Cynthia Dankers, who is here. Please come forward. Gotta say your name, sorry.
I'm Cynthia Dinkers. I live at 624 Quail Ridge on the north end of Fruit Heights. And as many of you council members may recall, you received an email from me concerning, several weeks ago, concerning a variance or an exception that we wanted. My husband and I are going on a mission out of the country, and we wanted to do an up and down rental, basically, an IADU, but we were not going to be occupying the dwelling. And so we requested a consideration for a variance or an exception. We think we've resolved our situation. However, I did come tonight so that I could go on record about the things that I don't agree with concerning this ordinance. And an up and down rental situation, I don't understand why it matters that a person occupying the dwelling is not an owner. I don't understand that. Homes in Fruit Heights being rented or leased by one occupying family are still trashed, are still poorly maintained, and even if a management company has been hired, it still happens. And that concerns me. There are homes that are vacant for a limited time, which also experience poor maintenance. And there are properties in Fruit Heights that even the owners do not maintain. they're eyesores, and yet the city is doing nothing about it. It is our experience that it is better to have a management on the property, on site. Management companies do not care about the unsightliness of property. They don't, as long as they collect their money. And someone on site usually does because they're living there. We experienced firsthand in 2020 when we went out of the country on a mission that we had a person living in our house that was just that. And we experienced considerable financial loss because of it. And so this time around, as we go, we don't want to go through that again. But last Thursday, my husband and I met with Mayor Pullman and City Councilman Cottrell at our home by the invitation of the mayor. He asked if he could come by. And I'm paraphrasing his words, but basically what I heard was that it was not possible to get a variance or an exception to this ordinance. The city lawyer told Darren Franson, who told me that it was possible for the city council to grant a variance or an exception because they are the legislative body. However, the mayor suggested that my husband and I not even come to this meeting and present our case. My husband is ill tonight and couldn't come. The mayor suggested a way around the ordinance, which we had already entertained as our plan B because we wanted to do a plan A. So now plan B is our plan A, and we do have a plan C that might be our plan B that happens while we're out of the country, which would be extremely inconvenient, but hey. The mayor told us that the reasoning behind this ordinance is that up-down rentals would change the integrity of Fruit Heights, that it would become low-income housing. A year ago, as some of you on the city council may recall, the city manager, Jeff Euler, and the mayor were pushing for low-income housing here in Fruit Heights so that we could be in compliance with new state laws. And now it seems all of that has changed. When comparing up-down rentals to putting in 6 to 8 condos on 0.8 acres, which the mayor endorses, I wonder if that would have a bigger effect upon the integrity of Fruit Heights, especially on the north end of Fruit Heights. On the north end of Fruit Heights, if you haven't been up there lately, we have trails, we have pasture land, we have livestock, we have orchards, and we have other animals that make our end of the city feel rural, and we want to keep it that way. We want to maintain that feel, and we do not appreciate those who seemingly want to build out all of Fruit Heights. We believe high-density housing is even more detrimental to the integrity of Fruit Heights than would be an up-down situation. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on, we don't have YCC here tonight, but we are going to allow the sheriff and their staff to come and make a presentation on the sheriffs. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having us.
Yep.
So I'm Sergeant Shelley with the patrol, along with Elizabeth Pinto, she's our analyst. So we're going to go over just the fourth quarter stats for you guys real quick, and then just give you a quick update on our so far for the first quarter of this year. So
Great, thank you.
go ahead.
Thanks for having me. All right, so we were last here in October of 2023. So this first review of the first quarter that we'll be going over will be from November and through December of 2023.
Hey, I got a message that the sound was not working until the deputy stood up. Is that something that's been reviewed? Can you check that? Thank you. We're going to move on to item number 5.1 on the agenda, which is appoint Darren Franz as our interim city manager as the next Fruit Heights city manager. And with that, I would entertain a motion
I would
to.
like to make a motion that we extend an offer of employment to our interim city manager, Aaron Franklin, to become our Fruit Heights city manager.
I'll second that.
Whoa, we got thirds, fourths. So I have a motion on the table and a second, a motion from Eileen and a second from Mark and a third. Any further discussion? All in favor of appointing Darren Franzen to be the next Fruit Heights City Council manager? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Except for that motion. My motion was that we
Extend an offer of employment to Darren Franzen to be the next city manager. All in favor of extending an offer to Darren Franzen to be the next city manager, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, that motion carries. I will work with Darren over the next 2 weeks to get a contract and agreement put in place. And the next city council meeting, we will swear him in as our next city manager. That's right with you guys.
hopefully it'll be all right.
Yes, I've already talked to him. Item number 5.2, I'm excited about this. We have Bob Christensen and Jordan Spring coming up to present on Fruit Heights Veterans Memorial. Do you have anything to talk about, Mark?
No, we'll let Bob and Jim, and then I can maybe fill in if we need to.
Great.
Mayor Pullman, members of the City Council, thanks for letting us speak this evening.
Richard, I live on Edgehill Drive. I've been a citizen of the city here for 32 years. I'm a 20-year veteran of the United States Air Force, and just want to express my feeling about why we need a monument here in the city. This has been going on for several years now, and I think it's due time that we go forward with something like this. You may have heard the expression, many of you, that the land of the free because of the brave. Well, freedom is not free. And so we need to remember and honor those who have served our country. And to pay respect for the indebtedness of the men and women who have served our country and paid the ultimate price. I've had the distinct privilege of going to cemeteries like Arlington and Normandy and seeing the countless crosses there, the men and women who have paid the ultimate price. And I think it's a great honor that we do respect and have a monument and respect in that regard. We need to also have a monument that we could connect the past with the present and the future with our younger generation. People who haven't had the opportunity maybe to serve our country or even experienced war. And so we need to have something that they can speak to. So our generation can speak to those. My father-in-law was a World War II veteran. And many of that greatest generation, that I would call it, they didn't hesitate to make the call to serve. And so, that's another reason why we need to have a monument to talk about those people. Many of the veterans that continue to serve their community after the military service work in the community as teachers, as coaches, and mentors, and much more. So we need to encourage and talk with our next generation about the veterans, and this monument promotes that. So let us not go wrong in establishing a memorial any longer. We've had pledges already for a monument, and so we've just been organized a week or so, but we're well on our way, I think, and so we need to get going on this. Thank you.
I'd like to start by passing around this rock. Pleased to speak this evening on the topic of Fruit Heights Veterans Memorial Project. Next slide, Haley, please. On this project is submitted by Jim Frazier, Paula and Chuck Stevenson, Linda and Jim Krismer, Ben Wellman, and Bob and Shannon Christensen. Next slide, please. We discussed the need for a Veterans Memorial. I would add one more need. Next slide, please. Ben Wellman, who's here with us tonight when we had our meeting last week, talked about and made the following statement. When you are a veteran, you have essentially given your country a blank check as far as your life is concerned. The country can do with it whatever they want to do. And I think that's a significant statement he makes. What Shannon and I, my wife and I, have looked at veterans memorials in the area. This is the Leighton Vietnam Wall and the Military Dog Memorial. There's going to be a further development of this site as far as Reflecting Pond is concerned. This is the Centerville Memorial. Next slide, please. And this is a statue that is in the Centerville Memorial. Next slide, please. This is a picture of the Farmington Memorial. We're surrounded by cities that have already chosen to build memorials. This is once again the Farmington Memorial. The maintenance on this memorial is difficult in order to maintain it, it appears. Next slide, please. So we as a committee have been looking at different ways to build a memorial and just would like to propose what we feel is a very good alternative. We've considered several alternatives: wood, metal, concrete, and stone. We've looked at different suppliers for this. We've chosen to submit this proposal based on meeting multiple times with a company by the name of Rockin' Signs and Features, which is located in West Haven. This next slide, please. This is the South Davis Recreation Center. When Shannon and I were there watching a grandchild's hockey game, we thought that these looked like particularly nice signs. We came up closer, and this is the Davis County Wind and Youth Hockey, where they play at South Davis Recreation Center. On the bottom of it, it says Eagle Project. Could you just go back, Haley, for a moment to that slide, please? On the bottom of it says, where you can't read it, it says Eagle Project 2012. This memorial, this sign has been here for 12 years now. I'm not seeing any damage which has been done, any significant concerns as far as maintenance is concerned. Next slide. Let me have you go with us to Rockin' Signs and Features at their workshop. These are signs that they've prepared for other cities and other organizations. Next slide, please. The stone which they used is Utah stone. It's from Davis, it's from Park City area, and from Price in central Utah. He does it by preparing the stones. He then smooths them out, and then he then uses a sandblaster to sandblast the image on the stone, and then paints it the appropriate color. Next slide, please. So these are the two slides that he proposed that we could use. One on the left is what we're calling the center monument. It says, honoring Fruit Heights City veterans. There are the 6 seals of the services. We're proposing that it will have a 7th seal of MIAs and POWs. And the slogan, it says, past, present, and future. This is to recognize veterans from the past, veterans who are current members of the military who are currently serving, and also future members who will serve. And it's when the logo, what has been proposed is Home of the Free, because of the brave, and that can be anything we really want it to be. On the right is a name monument, and that's meant to, the American flag will be in color, in red, white, and blue. I can show you an example of that. And this is where the names of veterans who are Fruit Heights City citizens will be placed. This is an example of a rock which this company has provided. There are 6 columns of 15 names per column, so there are 90 names on there. We think we're going to need to go with maybe 5 columns to allow a different size of names, but certainly with 2 rocks flanking the center rock, we would be able to list our veterans, and it would say our veterans instead of our residents. Next slide, please. This is the quote which we were given. 1 large veterans rock, 5 feet by 4 feet by 8 inches deep, would be $3,300. That's complete. That includes installation. That concludes the concrete pad that this will be placed in. Was there a question? Okay. So that's quote is $3,300. Next slide, please. We're considering that there could be 2 phases to doing this. The first phase would be the central rock, which is $3,300. This next phase would be each rock with names is going to be approximately $2,800. The names will be of Fruit Heights residents only who have served in the military. The cost of engraved names will be approximately $100 each for each name. What we mean by that is we're going to ask people who want to have a family member's name listed to make a contribution of $100, and so that they can appreciate the significance of that. Certainly for those who can't afford that, that can be taken care of. Currently, we have, we met last Tuesday, in the week following, we now have pledges of $6,000 towards building this monument.
I love our residents. I love
And
them.
that,
$6,000
and that's without any advertising. That is just this committee that volunteered to donate or have asked people they know in the city, would they be interested? And it's been overwhelming, so we haven't advertised.
So we put it in Ridge Runner, we sent it out as a part of a newsletter. We asked citizens to contribute, and I think we can do much better than and be ready to go. So we have the money. We have the money, we have the support. Let me give you an idea of where we think we'd like it to go. This is a picture of the Fruit Heights City Hall, what a beautiful building. Next slide, please. This is the approach. Next slide, please. This is a sample of what the sign would really look like when the flag in color is placed there. This is Sunset City, their memorial for their veterans who gave the ultimate sacrifice. And the next slide, please. We'd like this to be in a place where families can come, where they can be there, where they can come as families, where children can come, where we can all learn about what it means to be a veteran and how we can support that. So this was a beautiful evening last week. This is a proposal that we place it in the garden between those 2 flagpoles. We have the center rock, and then we have the 2, next slide, please. Next to it. The City Hall is a place where people come frequently. Classes can come, students can come, families can come, celebrations can be held in regards to veterans in our community and those who have given so much service. So we would propose that this project move forward in order to recognize our veterans. Thank you very much for your time.
One great job, Bob. Bob and the whole committee, it was very impressive. I got chills in my spine when we were at that meeting listening to these guys talk about their service.
Could we just have the members of our committee stand up for a moment, please? Thank you very much.
just a couple things to add to that. During the summer, it's my understanding that we're going to be revamping the front of the building. So it's even going to look nicer than what those pictures look. But we could move forward with these rocks now because Darren mentioned that part of the isn't going to be done. But I think it would be really cool to have this done when we remodel the front end. That would just make it look so much nicer. And the way these rocks are positioned, whenever anybody comes into the city building, they're going to be walking up and bam, those rocks are right there. When they come out of the door of the city building, it's there. And as we do Founders Day and other events here all the time, it would be some good recognition for our veterans. Plus, we have lawn out behind that we could do something on Memorial Day, Veterans Day, other type of service deals. The one thing that's impressive about this already is we have the money going forward. Any other questions that anybody has on it?
The rock that I passed around is obviously a sandstone, a sample of the sandstone, which is going to be there. It's remarkably hard and durable. And I asked the guy who makes these, I said, well, what if a kid comes down and hits it with a skateboard? And he said, his skateboard will be destroyed. But the rock will not be damaged.
So that is one question I have is maintenance on it, or, you know, in 100 years, if it's completely, would we just replace it, or what would be the idea?
The way that I would answer that is Fernando's been doing these signs in this way for 17 years. You'll see them all over around the community once you start looking for them. And there's no maintenance on them. He says he very rarely ever has to go out and do maintenance.
Yeah, your pictures look great. And I'm just kind of wondering how it might look if a sprinkler was.
And where it will be positioned, I've talked to Darren and he will take out the sprinklers that are right there. So there's no rainbird. And so we would just have nice bark or gravel or rock there that it would be sitting on, so we wouldn't need to have any sprinklers.
Fantastic.
The other thing in answer to your question was Fernando explained that these rocks have been in Utah for 10,000 years or more.
Sure,
Yeah.
not, yeah, but the engraving.
Yeah. The graving is done deeply and it can be used. You can make a rubbing of these if you wanted to. If you came and wanted to make a rubbing of your ancestors' name on this memorial.
So Gary, we have rockets pretty close to this down in Nichols Park.
Oh,
Yeah, it gets sprinklers on it and all that, and it still looks like just about paving.
okay, and does it have an engraving or anything?
Yeah, that's for Red City, Nichols Park.
Oh,
I don't-
okay, so it's not an issue. That's awesome.
And it hasn't been vandalized, that would be.
Actually, that one has not been vandalized or anything.
The other thing with this on the engravings, what we probably envision is that we maybe engrave names like twice a year, maybe a couple of weeks before Memorial Day, a couple of weeks before Veterans Day. So we would have the city staff gather the names, and it will cost $300 to $400 for him to come out and engrave. That's whether it's 2 names or 20 names. So if we're charging residents $100 so that there's some teeth in the game, we should have a little bit of extra money if something was to happen. So it's something that we would be able to fund.
Are we gonna make, some efforts, I hope, to honor veterans that are no longer with us, that were longtime residents of our city? You know, certainly before the first engraving, it would be nice if we could, make an effort to reach out to some of those. This is something that people have wanted to see, and different people have had different visions of, you know, everybody having a tree with a plaque or different things. And some of those things have been so magnificent that they were impossible to accomplish. So what you're presenting to us seems very, very possible, but I would hope that we could, and maybe, I don't know, on the $100, but just trying to go forward with some of our city ancestors who are veterans as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think what we would do is advertise it very well and have people, if you know of anybody or people that used to live in the community, maybe no longer, and they were a veteran, to reach out. I don't know if we want to spend a whole bunch of time and effort trying to research, but I'm sure there's people in the community that know of somebody, and then we're not forcing people to do this, so they could do it or not do it if they wanted. But we would want to include anybody that has lived in Fruit Heights or has been a veteran or is in the service now. Because we're talking about past, present, future. So if you have a son that's in the service now and you live in Fruit Heights, his name could go on there as well.
I think it'd just be wonderful if we could bring our children and our grandchildren and be able to talk to them about what it means to be a veteran and what it means to give that blank check to your country. Thank you very much.
Lane, did you have anything for them before? Do you have any thoughts, concerns with regards to this, with you and your team managing it?
No, I think that's easy enough to manage. It's out of the way. It's visible enough for people to do it. I think it's good.
Any other questions?
I would actually entertain a motion on this one.
Okay, I motion.
No, okay. Mark?
I move.
Yes.
Oh, I made a motion to approve the Fruit Heights City Veterans Memorial as has been explained here this evening.
I have a motion for Mark. I have a second from Eileen. Any further questions, any comments, concerns? All in favor of approving the motion to move forward with the Fruit Heights City Veterans Memorial as it's been outlined, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you so much. While everyone is still here, before you leave, I have a quick announcement to make. Darren, would you mind standing up? It is Darren's birthday today. And we are going to sing happy birthday to Darren because it's his birthday today.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Darren. Happy birthday to you.
Darren got our projector, don't be about that. Item number 5.3, the all the information talks available for you. We're going to take it on until the next city council meeting. We are going to, and I apologize, I will take blame for that, sorry. Item number 5.4, Darren and Lane, do you want to talk about item number 5.4, which is the award the bid for the 1800 East Improvement Project?
So in the packet, we put a recommendation from the city engineer on the project for the 1800 East water line extension over to View Court and a road that will go from 1800 East and tie into Farmington Bell Court. Staker Parson was a little bit on this for just under $1.5 million. Which was under the engineer's estimate. And as a staff, we've gone through, we've researched it all. We've been actually working on this for quite a while. And $1 million of this is paid by a grant that we received this last, about a year and a half ago. So as the staff, we recommend that the council approve Staker Parsons to start this project.
How soon would they start there?
They would like to start as soon as April 1st.
Okay, and we have this money in the budget right now, or we're going to have to add to that money in our next budget year?
So the amendment we had to do last month for the budget, that was part of this grant where we had to show the state that we have the money to match that grant. So it's already been amended and it's there. So it's.
So let's make a motion that we approve the 1800 East Improvement Project and award the bid to Staker Parson Companies for a total bid of $1,460,000.
I second that. I have a motion and a second. Any questions? Okay. All in favor of awarding the bid to Sacred Parsons on the 1800 East Improvement Project for 1.460? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. We'll move on to item number 5.5, which is resolution 2024-007, which is an interlocal agreement between Fruit Heights and Farmington for the 1800 East Improvement Project.
So this is, a portion of this project is in Farmington, for their road to be completed on Bell Court, I believe it's named Bella Vista. So we went and met with Farmington, talked about the project. This has been on their general plan since 1993 to tie that into 1800 East. Their council is 100% in support of this, along with our contract with our fire chief. He is likes the idea for safety and fire, and actually law enforcement is excited about this connection too. Going through and do it. Mark and I had a chance to talk with the sheriff and stuff like that, and we told you about this project. This is just the resolution saying we're agreed that we'll work with Farmington and they'll pay their portion of this project, the estimate, and work with us on it.
Do I have a motion?
I move to approve resolution 2024-07, interlocal agreement between Fruit Heights and Farmington for the 1800 East Improvement Project.
Thank you, Commissioner, or Councilmember Ray.
I second it.
Thank you. Flo, any further questions?
Just one.
Yep.
And maybe we should talk just a little bit before we approve it. But I just wanted to comment that I think it was great that that there was a lot of notice given to the people in the area of what was coming to them. There were signs everywhere for a cottage meeting, and not everyone was happy. But I think it's truly neighbors working together instead of neighbors putting a barrier between cities, as we've had happen with other cities who put a barrier up when they put out fire service that was much closer to it. So I think this has got some real value, and I really appreciate that Farmington is supportive of this, and we made an effort to notice the neighborhood as well.
On that note, I don't know if I would have voted to approve it at this time, but it is good. It's good. I don't know if we're in the place. I've had many discussions with Darren, and we've hashed it out quite a bit. And in order to put it on the agenda, I felt comfortable with it. He and Wayne have done a lot of work behind the scenes that no one will see to accommodate some of the concerns that were brought up in that cottage meeting. Just to name a couple of them, parking's gonna be a mess for Fruit Loops. If it happens and they start cutting ground in 2 weeks, right in the springtime when we have the most people on the hillside riding the biking trail, it's gonna be a mess. And Darren and Lane have come up with some really, really, really good solutions to where we can put all the cars. They've talked about opening a gate and allowing people to park in the bottom of the water basin for a short time, and accommodating some parking there and having very temporary parking. They've also talked about, because the bid was lower than what we had anticipated, they actually put in and potentially putting in some lighting that will go across 1800 to light the whole road and keep it lit at night, as well as putting in some conduit for fiber, and we can put cameras up there and monitor that street very closely. I think Darren and Lane have done a lot of work that you will never see, that they have stressed out, because I wasn't 100% for this quite yet. But I accept this, and I think this is good. I think this is something that's good for the city. And with that.
Well, on that, I didn't quite understand it, so I got with Darren too, so I get a better feel for it. And, we need to also get water to the view court. homes because there's not enough water there if we have an emergency. Plus, we have that grant that we don't want to lose. Plus, we want to get into now when there's good building opportunities to build everything. So I was very impressed with, because I threw a lot of what ifs to him and he had some very good answers.
Excellent. Thank you. So I have a motion from George and a second from Flo. Any further questions? All in favor of? Oh, it is a resolution. You are correct.
Councilmember Anderson.
Aye.
Councilmember Parsha.
Aye.
Councilmember Moss.
Aye.
Councilmember Ray.
Yay.
Councilmember Sadler.
Yay.
Thank you. Item number 6.1 was a tabled item. It's going to remain tabled for this time. I don't have anything to report on it quite yet.
Did the legislature do anything?
I don't know quite yet. I have made many calls and inquiries down to the legislature. I don't know what's happening because they're going to hold it there. Are planning on doing a special session, and I don't know what's happening with it quite yet. I will report.
So nothing got done after this last session? To get us through?
I have asked, and I have not heard back, and I personally did not read every single bill that was passed, so I don't know exactly. Item number 8, which is, oh, I did. I saw the meeting minutes. Approve the city council meeting minutes of February 20, 2024. Did you get a chance to review them? And do I have a motion to approve
I have through and made a lot of changes. Our AI has got some difficulties.
them? I'm sorry, but I love it. I read through those minutes and I'm just like,
I'm not,
you're right, I did say that.
I'm not saying,
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's bad, I'm saying it was wordy and somewhat incomplete.
Well, that was-
in some areas.
That was probably me talking. My grammar's not the best. I mean, I was very impressed. I mean, it had everything there, I thought.
Anyway, I almost think, that it almost needs to be a council assignment to one of the council members to go through and help clean it up. And then the other council members can make.
Because I can talk over top of you and it'll look really funny on the minutes.
But I read through it, and yes, there was, I mean, AI spelled like Haley's name wrong. And there was a couple of other little things like that. To me, that's not a big deal. The gist of the meeting was there.
Yeah.
Yes, I saw a couple of words that we kind of misspelled. I corrected them when I went through it. But to me, the value of the meeting was there. I don't know if we got to be hung up on a comma and a word that's going to be misspelled every time we use AI.
But it was awesome. I love it. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of February 20, 2024?
As corrected, me.
As corrected.
I move that we accept the minutes of the city council meeting for February 20th, 2024 as reviewed and changed.
Second.
Second. Gary, all in favor of approving the minutes of February 20th, 2024, say aye.
Aye.
Excellent. Let's, I'm actually going to go to 10. The appointments will be covered in the city council report if there is anything. George Ray, do you have anything to report?
Not at the moment.
Excellent. We skipped over the consent calendar. Did you get a chance to review the financials?
I have reviewed the financial, the latest that are in there in January. Remember, I've got
Anything to report, any concerns?
No, not at the moment.
Excellent. Gary Anderson.
So in the mosquito abatement meeting, they talked about getting a tracked vehicle, a new trailer. They had talked about a drone that is able to go out and spray particular parts of land that they they don't have easy access to, and they had to get permission from the FAA to fly that device in those places. And they're working on giving their employees benefits for having maternity leave and stuff like that to come and compete with other businesses as far as male paternity leave and stuff like that. So that's some of the stuff that's going on at the mosquito abatement district. That's all I've got for now.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Flo, do you have anything?
Yes, I had the privilege of attending the banquet with the YCC Youth City Council up in Logan. They went to a conference up there, 2 nights worth. We took 19 youth up there, and from what I gathered, they had a really good time and learned some valuable things. And so we appreciate Jeannie Grover and her determination and in getting the funding when she asked from the city council and we couldn't afford it to send all of the kids, she was able to round up some extra money and so that she could take all 19 up there. And we really appreciate the Jacksons who supervised the youth up there since the Grovers couldn't this time.
It was very impressive. I was really impressed with the quality of the people there. Thank you for what you do on the YCC. Is there anything else?
Not that I know.
Eileen, do you have anything?
What was that?
Do you have anything to report?
I do.
Great.
So, next Monday night, the 25th, members of the Emergency Preparedness Committee are going to meet here and give us some packets to pass out. It's kind of our yearly update to our emergency plan in the city to offer those to new move-ins, with our little colored signs, so that everybody can participate in the shakeout coming up in April. Cemetery, also people have seen the survey that's out there. I'm gonna say that there may be a need for another survey, a little different. So, just depending on narrowing things down, potentially, depending on how things come in. And I spoke with a couple people about putting together a traffic committee, got a couple very interested people. We have some plans in our general plan for traffic calming and kind of need to make a plan for how to progress.
Great.
Okay, I have a few items.
Hey, thank you for running with the veterans wall and getting that approved. Awesome job. Great work.
Thank you. It was a great committee. Those guys were awesome.
They are pretty
They did it all. I have several things because my wife Celeste wanted me out of the house quite a bit this last month. So I met with Chief Love at the Farmington Fire Department. He explained their service levels to our city and the change in the paramedic services. I met Mandis, who is our contact person for when we want to have a fire department involved in our city activities. Haley already has met with her and has her contact information. So if we ever want them here for activities, they are more than willing to be here. The fire department will also meet with the city council in a second meeting through the quarter to give us an update of service calls and concerns. Then Darren and I met with Sheriff Sparks and 2 of his deputies. We discussed the service level of the contract. We discussed concerns and issues of the city. And the sheriff department over the last few months has been more visible in driving around the city more than they maybe did in the past. And Darren said that the city staff has received many comments from residents saying that they like them driving around and being more involved. The sheriff department has made a change with their contact people. So I received their information. I was able to meet them tonight and have their contact information. And the sheriff department would like to be involved in all city type activities. They are also willing to do traffic control, especially here in front of the building when we have big events, because most of the people end up parking on the street or parking across the street. And the sheriff department also will do a recap each quarter. They were supposed to do it the next meeting, but somehow they got their wires crossed up, so they came tonight. So after both of those meetings, I really asked, why am I involved? Because the city staff had already had all this stuff taken care of and already knew the people. So those 4 hours out of the home, I probably would have been better off staying home.
Oh, thank you.
And I just wanted to talk about the committee here with the wall, how impressed I was with those people. And then on Tuesday, June 11th, would like to do a city staff and city council barbecue in our backyard. We'll start at 6. We'll be grilling burgers and dogs, and we will be holding our first annual cornhole tournament. And when it gets closer, we'll send out a sign-up sheet for potluck items to bring. So right now, mainly, it is to save the date. And we figured a Tuesday night would be a good night to do it because we're used to doing a lot of things on Tuesday evenings. Haley will be sending out an invite to all the city staff here within, and us as city council here within the next couple of days, just so we can get it on our calendars. Founders Day update, the city staff has met, they're making assignments, they're starting the process. They're in the process right now of securing 5 food trucks, mass gathering permit, portable potties, first responders, planning games, chalk festival, quilt show, and each month I'll provide an update of what the city staff is doing in the way of Founders Day.
Do we have a date on that?
Yeah, it's that last Saturday of August. 24th, second to the last one. And here at the Fruit Heights building again. As you guys have seen going out with all the communication, we have spring cleanup coming from April 5th through the 22nd. When the office staff hands out the free vouchers for the residents for the dump green waste, they will ask the residents to call back in after and report how many hours they did cleaning up, trees and stuff, so that we can put that onto our report. So Darren will contact the city staff just to make sure that when they give out the voucher, hey, call us back and let us know how many hours you gave the service.
Those vouchers are not good for trailers, right? You just good for single axle or double axle, not a trailer as well, is that true? Or that's in the past.
Single axle trailer.
Was that?
It's a single axle trailer. If you take a double axle trailer in there, they consider you a professional and they charge you by weight.
So the question I guess is, I think you're going to miss a lot of that because I know in our neighborhood they're planning a cleanup for some of that elderly neighbors.
And from the wind.
And a lot of the trailers that have been offered that last.
Maybe what we could do, Darren, is have Karen put that on Facebook and on the website and in the next Ridge Runner, call into the office to be able to report them, because that is a good point. Especially with this windstorm, we might have some trees that need to be taken down for safety and fire hazards.
I mean, they just don't want to exclude the good helpers that happen to have the double axle and they're actually willing to pay.
Yeah.
Their neighbors.
Do you have any issue with that, Darren, at all? You think that could be done? And that's all that I have. Next time it won't be as much because I can play golf now and my Harley riding. So Celeste will get rid of me.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, City Council. I have a couple things to report on. As part of our strategic planning meeting, it was discussed to create a creed. I drafted that and sent that out. I have not heard any or seen any replies. Would you please?
I replied.
Did you edit stuff on it?
No,
I'm trying to edit, I figured out how to edit.
Okay. If you can review that, that'd be awesome. Secondly, coming in probably the 1st of May, we're going to have Wasatch Integrated Waste or the landfill come and do a presentation on the recycling program and what's going on with that. I would, before they come in and present, I'd like to kind of give some more briefing on what's happening and what the plan is and what is going on. I've been working with Darren. Darren's going to get a bid just so that we know what the starting point is. Doesn't need to be executed right now, but at least we know what the cost would be to our residents. As well, Flo sits on a committee for the Communities That Care. Next city council meeting, it will be 2 city council meetings. The 1st of May. My wife is going to come and just do a quick presentation so that all of you know what is going on. and everything that's going on behind the scenes. I think that was something you both of you had talked about that you want to talk to City Council about. Is that correct?
Yeah, that would be good.
Excellent. Lastly, as part of moving forward, I want to ask City Council a couple random questions with regards to education of our employees, and if we would support a single employee taking up a majority of our training budget for our employees. If we ask an employee to get certified or to further their education to help the staff or to help the city, which may include getting or finishing a bachelor's degree at an online education, at an online school, is that something that we would support?
At the expense of the other employees?
No, not at the expense of the other employees. It would be worked out so that all the employees will continue their education with the water training and stuff like that, but it would take up a majority of the allocated budget in.
All right. Okay, just to be clear, are we asking you to pay for that 100%, or is it participation? And the reason I say that is because, you know, my husband did a lot of schooling, but we had to have some skin in the game to do it.
Right, and this, in one of these situations, the employee has quite a bit of skin in the game and has done quite a bit, but just finishing the degree is something that would benefit the city in a way that they would learn more information and education towards specific components that we would be asking them to do. I'm staying super ambiguous, not for any other reason than I just want to protect the employees that are going through this.
And I'm assuming we're talking about this is for this coming year, not
Right.
not continuing on for multiple years.
No, it would be probably 1 year.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What's the precedent of this? Has this happened in the city before?
Not really, but we have asked previous employees to get education, and we allocated some education budget towards them that wasn't necessarily used. We asked all of our public works directors and all of our public works team members to get certified in CDL, in water, and everything that they're doing, and they've done a very good job of that. The other staff members are not needing those certifications, but the education, what they're doing, would be directly applied to it, to their education, to their job function. So it's not the same, but it's pretty close to asking one of Lane's team members to get CDL certified or stormwater certified. It takes a little bit of time and there's an expense that goes to it. But I just want to have a casual conversation to see if we should continue moving forward and finding out what the exact expense would be and how long it would take before I.
Would there be any expectation that they commit to stay employed with the city for a certain time frame?
There would be an expectation, but I don't think there would be a written contractual agreement that we have to bind them by for a certain amount of time. But I think there would be an expectation. I think there would be an understanding that if they left early, that it would be paid back, or a portion of that would be paid back.
Would this set an expectation for the future that might be difficult to?
I don't think I don't know if I am against having an expectation or setting a precedence to allow and help people gain education. I'm not against it. It's just new for us because we haven't done it before. And so while we're treading down these new waters, I want to kind of just get a general understanding if you would feel comfortable if I keep proceeding with this before it came to city council, yes or no type of a thing.
So one of the things that I think should be considered is, I truly don't think we should pay for 100%.
Okay.
And I think if it's a reimbursement, here's a thought from a tax account. Someone who goes to college is going to get something called a 1098T, even if they have already used up their American opportunities, something called lifetime learning. And lifetime learning will pay 20% back on your taxes for your education. And so if you do it as a reimbursement so that the employee has to pay for it, it's not a scholarship towards, we don't pay the college, then that employee can take that 1098T and and use it towards their taxes and get a 20% credit right off the top toward their tuition. So I think that's something that needs to be considered.
Okay, so, and I think we can work these things out. I just wanted to kind of get a general feel if we wouldn't be allocating more to that budget, but just a higher percentage would go to a single employee than has in the past.
Would it,
The budget would cover it, but we don't normally allocate. No, but we don't normally allocate that much of our annual budget to a single employee. Right.
would it be too hard to go to school and do this full-time job?
No. From what I understand at this point.
If it's Western Governors, it's, you pay a set fee to
Yeah.
get as much as you can get done in that period of time. And so it actually, the employee gets a better deal, they can devote more time to it.
Right.
That's
The
expected.
thing I want to see.
Our educator on the council.
The thing I would like to see is that it actually becomes a part of personnel policy. That way everybody's treated fairly. Sometimes I'm watching the spending going through. I look at some things and like, well, why'd that person get that? Or why'd that person get that? And there's no policy to tie it to.
Great.
And so I would like to see this, so that everybody's treated fairly. So next year, if somebody else wanted to do education as well, they could.
Thank you, that's exactly what I heard. Thank you very much. That's all I've got. Let's go over to the staff report. Jeff Oiler, what do you have to report?
One quick thing, I've read through
Draw
the,
your mic. Thanks.
sorry. I read through the bills that were passed by this year's legislature. And I didn't see anything in there that would give the city any relief on the subdivision ordinance, but I'd be happy to provide like a comprehensive review at one of our next council meetings on all the bills that were passed. There's nothing really earth shattering like the last year, but there's a few cleanup things, so.
Thank you, Jeff. Anything else? No? Awesome. Lane?
Me and Public Works have taken stab at the budget. That's been kind of a new learning curve for me. Darren's helped me a lot with it. Other than that, we've repaired a few leaks on the spring line that fills our irrigation tank. We widened that road and we've been changing out corner meters.
Great. Is there anything that we can do to support you and your staff? Good. Awesome. Darren? Happy birthday, Darren.
I just wanted to, we received a notice that we did receive $126,000 from the CBDG grant that we applied for this spring. So that will help us have money to fix the porch, as long as the commissioners vote yes at their next meeting. So Jeff, throw that word in there for them to say yes. Staff's been working very hard on the budget and putting the numbers together. We'll be having the numbers coming out to the city council in April. Moving along.
Excellent. Is there anything we can do to support you and your staff?
Just, as we have questions and those kind of things, have an open ear.
Excellent. That concludes everything on our agenda. I would entertain a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion from Eileen and a second from Gary. All in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? We are adjourned at 8:15 p.m.